This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 880, Leveraging What You Already Have, and Performance Reviews. Are they working? Both by Douglas Lang of altris.co.nz. And I'm Dan, I'm your host and narrator here. I'm with you every single day on OSD, reading to you from some of the best blogs out there that cover business, entrepreneurship, and related issues. And this time around, I'm going to be sharing two shorter posts for you, both of them from Douglas Lang of Altris. So let's get right to it as we jump into these posts and optimize your life. Leveraging What You Already Have by Douglas Lang of altris.co.nz. We often observe a tendency for organizations to disregard what has gone before in the interest of introducing the latest, bright, and shiny management tool or technique. The organization may have invested tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars and many staff hours in training their people in particular techniques and tools, only to throw these out upon the appointment of a new HR, OD, general manager, or CEO who has a different view about what the right tool or approach should be. In some ways, it's a bit like televisions, where every 6 months or so, we are offered the latest enhancement, whether it's high definition, 200 hertz, 3D, etc., etc. In reality, our existing TV is likely to provide us with 90% of what we need, and we probably don't use all the features available in it anyway. So in our view, much better to make fuller use of what we've already got than simply to swap it out to a larger, more expensive model. Sure, there comes a time when the advances are so significant that it makes sense to swap to a new model, but not every year. In the same way, companies that have invested in training of their people in a particular method or leadership approach would gain a much better return on investment by looking to stick with the approach and actually embedding the respective tools and techniques in the day-to-day way the business operates. How often have you been on a training course or workshop, learned some great things, or perhaps simply been reminded of some existing things you had forgotten, only to get back to your office or desk and find that because of the demands of the day job, you are unable to give time to putting into action the things you found so useful in the course or workshop? The manual is put to one side to be looked at tomorrow or the next day, next week, next month, and it never happens. As a result, the insights and changes you are going to make fade into the distance, and you go back to your old ways of working. Not only is this a waste of hard cash, but also your time, the trainer's time, and another nail in the coffin of training and development initiatives because we spend all this money on training and nothing ever changes as a result. Most organizations already have much of what they need to succeed. Most people turn up to work to do a good job. Most systems and processes are good enough, if followed, to deliver a good outcome. People in the organization have much knowledge and experience from time spent in their existing role or previous roles. What is missing is adequate time spent embedding the various tools, processes, knowledge, and skills so that they become part of how the organization functions rather than simply techniques and theories that made sense on a workshop but are not applied in the real world. So next time you are tempted to move to yet another new management approach because, quote-unquote, the last one didn't work, consider the following. 1. Trust that you already have most of what you need to succeed, either in the form of skills and knowledge or fit-for-purpose practices. 2. Rather than look to make changes to the latest management tools or techniques, instead look at how the time it would take to train and embed these could be used to remind people about the existing approaches or tools and techniques, and work on embedding these into the day-to-day approach. And 3. Provide coaching or buddy support to people to hold them accountable for implementing the things they have learned on training courses. Either external coaches or internal coaches or buddies could be used for this purpose. Taking a more sustainable approach to development will generate increased return on investment, create a greater sense of stability as you are no longer flip-flopping from one thing to another, and elicit more buy-in as people see that you are serious about allowing them to implement the things they have learned. Performance Reviews. Are they working? By Douglas Lang of altris.co.nz. Maybe it's just this time of year, but recently I've heard a number of people talking unfavorably about their performance appraisal or review systems, which seem to get in the way of, rather than enhance, performance in their organizations. For some leaders, the complaint seems to be the lack of time available to carry out performance reviews. I only have an hour budgeted for me to do the review and complete the paperwork. For others, it's the fact that objectives that were established at the start of the year were either too broad or should have been changed during the year to more fairly reflect the actual work they've been doing. As a result, the review isn't a realistic assessment of what's been achieved versus what was expected. Research from Globoforce would seem to back up the anecdotal evidence. In the research, they found that only 55% of respondents thought that performance reviews were an accurate appraisal of employees' work, down from 61% in the previous year. Even worse, in a Reuters poll, 4 out of 5 U.S. workers indicated they were dissatisfied with their job performance reviews. So despite many years of using and quote-unquote improving performance reviews, something is still not right with the process. As a result, reviews become less about assessing performance objectively and more about ticking a box to say the process is out of the way for another year. One of the key things that we notice when working with leaders on this area is the tendency of some to wait until the annual appraisal process before providing any form of feedback or objective assessment of performance to their team members. So it's not surprising that objectives have changed or that an hour is not enough time to complete the process if you are looking to review and give feedback on a full year of activity. So what's the answer? Provide regular, objective, and descriptive feedback and clarity of expectations, and whether these have been met, as this is a key part of the role of an effective leader. Take opportunities to do this on a regular basis rather than once or twice a year. This not only helps in providing direction and recognition to team members, but it also means that when the annual performance review comes around, there won't be the surprises that we are told shouldn't be there, and the review can be completed in a reasonable amount of time. Both parties are already clear on how performance has been through the year, as feedback, positive or constructive, has been provided on a regular basis. If you find you're dreading the prospect of this year's performance review round, make a commitment to yourself that this will be the last year you feel that way. Look to start the next performance year with an approach that creates and takes regular opportunities to provide feedback and clear expectations to your people. Look for opportunities to coach, both formally and informally, to support people in improving their performance in areas where they are not performing to the expected level. Equally, look for chances to positively reinforce where people are doing things to a high standard so they know what's expected. Keep notes during the year of agreed changes to objectives and the feedback you've provided. That way, when it does get to the formal review, it's more a case of reminding yourself of things that have happened than a mad panic trying to find evidence of what an individual has done well or not during the year. You might also take a moment to think about who the leaders are in your organization that don't seem to have an issue re the review process, and check in with them about what they do. What can you learn from their practices that might help you? It's unlikely that the review process is going away, so much better to find a way to ease the pain than have to go through the same concern and dread again this time next year. You just listened to the posts titled Leveraging What You Already Have and Performance Reviews. Are They Working? Both by Douglas Lang of altris.co.nz. The thing about running your own business is every single hire counts. But finding great talent doesn't have to be a second job. You can reclaim your time and find top talent fast with Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform helping over 3 million businesses worldwide to do it all. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates. Over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates the moment they sponsor a job. I especially love Indeed's Instant Match feature because candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search, according to US Indeed data. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/startup to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/startup. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. If your business earns millions or tens of millions in revenue, stop what you're doing and take a listen, because NetSuite by Oracle has just rolled out the best offer we've ever seen. For the first time in NetSuite's 22 years as the #1 cloud financial system, you can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. That's no payment and no interest for 6 months. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, And it's number one because they give your business everything you need in real time, all in one place. And the confidence that comes with having all of your information in one place really helps to streamline decisions, saving you time, money, and energy, all thanks to NetSuite's amazing offer. If you've been sizing up NetSuite to make the switch, then you know this deal is unprecedented. No interest, no payments. Take advantage of this special financing offer at netsuite.com/startup. netsuite.com/startup to get the visibility and control you need to weather any storm. netsuite.com/startup. And thank you so much to Douglas for letting us share his post today. He's a member of the team at Altris, which is all about releasing potential. They deliver coaching-based programs for organizations, teams, and leaders. While they have a range of specialized leadership development and executive coaching solutions, they believe that each leader, team, and organization is unique, and so the solutions they deliver must be distinctive. And they have a ton of resources on their site, from their blog to executive coaching, recruitment support, leadership and team development, and much more. So come by altris.co.nz to see all of that. And Altris, by the way, is spelled Altris. But that is going to do it for today. A big thank you once again to Douglas and the Altris team. We share a lot of their stuff here and hope you enjoy it. And be sure to stop by tomorrow for another edition of Optimal Startup Daily, where your optimal life awaits.